Request for the Dhamma, page 154. The Brahma god Sahampati, Lord of the world, with palms joined in reverence, requested a favor. Beings are here with but little dust in their eyes. Pray, teach the Dhamma out of compassion for them.
Na mô tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Na mô tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Na mô tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. Blessings, good evening. It's nice to see everybody coming together to meditate, practice the Dhamma on a Saturday night. Saturday night, there's always a lot of competition, other things that you could be doing. So we've been practicing meditation for a few days together now. And probably you're aware how difficult meditation can be sometimes. Sometimes it seems very easy. Just sit there, body feels good, mind settles down, feels peaceful. You enjoy it so much that you don't want it to stop. And then another time, complete opposite. Whatever you do, you can't settle down. The legs hurt, the mind's all over the place, and all you want to do is get away. But what we've been cultivating primarily is mindfulness, this ability to know your body and mind in the present moment, to pay attention, and then the ability to contemplate or reflect on your experience, to understand what's going on, what leads to what. To contemplate, you need to be able to pay attention, to look. And sometimes we don't want to look, we don't like what we see. And it's not as if we don't have any mindfulness or the ability to reflect on our life at other times. You know, when we're not on a meditation retreat, we can do that, but quite often we're just half aware or vaguely aware of different kinds of stress, suffering, problems, issues. We're vaguely aware, but we are not seeing them yet in this impersonal way that mindfulness allows you to. We're still too involved, personally involved in our own moods and thoughts. And so we really feel it. If we have a negative mood, we feel the stress, the pain, the suffering. If we have some pain or discomfort in our body, we really attach to that as me, mine, my pain, my suffering. And when we only have half mindfulness, half awareness, we attach, we grasp, we attach. Even the good experiences, the pleasures, the happinesses of life, we attach to them. We don't want them to finish or end. We want more. We want to hold on to them. But something's missing, isn't it? That's why we suffer. If you're suffering, it means something is missing. You don't have the complete picture. How on earth could an experience of pleasure or happiness bring you suffering? When you don't see the clinging to it. If you cling to something, when it changes, when it disappears, when it changes its form, its nature, you suffer. Because you don't see the impermanence, the transient nature of that experience. So what's missing is the wisdom or the insight. To see impermanence, you need to pay attention. So you need the mindfulness, and then to observe and see something arise and pass away, and maybe many times before your mind gets it, before it understands and knows, oh, this is impermanent. So when we're not fully mindful, and we're not seeing impermanence, we're not seeing the unsatisfactory side of experience, we grasp at it as me, mine, myself, fills the mind. And that sets up the causes, the conditions for more suffering. It seems endless, doesn't it? We're endlessly suffering. So the Buddha encouraged us to develop more mindfulness and reflect and develop more insight over and over again. So when we come together like this for a retreat, we have a chance to do it really well. Even though it's difficult, it's challenging, we have a real chance to sort things out, understand things better, clean things up. It's like coming to your spare room in your house that you haven't entered for a long, long time when you come on retreat and you open the door and already things are falling out of the door on top of you and there's dust and cobwebs because you haven't been in there for a long time. You just shoved everything in and you shut the door and hope for the best. And we do that in life, don't we? We have a problem, some kind of dissatisfaction, some anger, some sadness, and we just push it away to one side without really understanding it. Or we try and cover it over with something else. So we look for pleasures and distractions. When we're not very mindful, we tend to do that. So we're always pushing things away, pulling this towards us, something that will give us a bit of pleasure, change our mood. Then we push what we don't like away. So it's this kind of pushing and pulling all the time. It's quite tiring when you watch it. The thing is, we don't notice. It just happens and we don't realize what we're doing. We just stuff everything in that dark room and close the door. Now we're opening the door, going into the room to sort it out and tidy it up. Well, that's hard work, isn't it? Nobody likes tidying up a dirty old room full of dust and cobwebs and junk and this and that. And you get a few bonuses along the way. You clean out the room out, you'll find something that has some meaning for you, and maybe that's good. But you also have to wade through all the junk as well. And our mind is like that. You start meditating, maybe your meditation goes quite well in the sense you become more mindful, turning attention inwards. But what happens as soon as your mind becomes more peaceful, more settled, things start to come up. memories of what we like and don't like come up. Even if you're sitting in a room totally peaceful, nobody's bothering you, you remember something that sets you off, and you have some anguish coming up, some fear, worry, some desire. It's actually because you're more peaceful than usual. So it's actually part of the process of meditation, opening up to the truth, getting to know your own mind. So it's a good thing. But you need the patience and the endurance to deal with it, not to run away. And especially in the beginning, that you have to build up that patience, that effort, so that you don't run away. And it can come up very strongly. You know, some issue that's been bothering you at work or in your social circle, in your family, maybe for months, occasionally for years. And now you're more peaceful, it will come up very strongly. And sometimes people make the mistake, they say, oh, meditation is making me suffer more than normal. It's not. It's you're just seeing what's there. Now you're seeing, you've gone into your room and you're seeing what's in there. The room was always there. The junk in the room was always there. It's just now you're seeing it. And so you misunderstand and say, oh, meditation makes me unhappy or annoyed or full of, my mind becomes full of craving when I meditate. It's not the meditation doing that. It's already happening anyway. It's just now you're getting to know what's there. So that's why we need lots of patience when we meditate, because you're learning and finding out. And not everything you find out is beautiful or good or pleasant. We're seeing mental defilements by their name. The name defilement doesn't sound very good, does it? Something that defiles, dirties, blemishes. It's a fault. It's something wrong with your mind. And now you're knowing that, you're seeing that, and it needs to be fixed up. So that needs patience. Just the same as when you go to the doctor, so many people, they're ill and they don't want to go to the doctor because they're just afraid of the treatment, the hassle, the possible pain, discomfort, all of that. They don't want to go through it. So they just try and hide away from the doctor until the illness or the injury becomes so bad that you can't, and they cart you off in an ambulance maybe. It's the same with our mind. We just try to suppress stuff, avoid it, deny it, find excuses, change the subject, think of something else, find something more pleasurable, and then the original problem we don't see. So this is why the Buddha said, practice mindfulness a lot. Mindfulness coupled with the quality clear comprehension, you're clearly understanding what's going on in your mind from moment to moment, knowing what you're doing from moment to moment. And this will allow some deeper wisdom and understanding to arise. Deeper meaning not just scratching the surface, seeing, oh, I'm suffering, I'm stressed, I'm unhappy, but actually getting underneath to see, what is this unhappiness I'm experiencing? What is defilement? It's a thought, it's a mood, it's a feeling. But underneath that, what's there? Nothing. It's empty. It's just a visitor, a temporary experience that comes up in the mind. When the causes and the conditions are correct, are there, then it will arise. There's not even any person making that happen. If you're experiencing anger, it's a set of causes and conditions that have come up, given rise to that angry state of mind, the feeling, the thinking. But underneath that, there's nothing. There's no one there. It's not a person or a being. In Buddhist meditation, we say it's empty, empty of self. It's anatta, not self. The only way you can understand or see that, know that, is through directing your mind to pay attention to what's going on. We can read about it, discuss it, and that's helpful, but then you have to practice and you have to be willing to look at what you don't really want to look at. Attachment. Nobody likes to admit they have craving and attachment. You walk around, tell your friends, oh, I'm full of craving and attachment. It doesn't sound very good, does it? Well, we all got it. It's just we don't recognize it. And now is your chance. You have a chance to really start seeing things, and things will bubble up and come up. So you may find you're quite irritated or annoyed or doubting or worrying about something. But it's not the meditation that's doing it. It's just your own conditioning. Now it's coming up and you're seeing it. But if you keep looking, you'll see these thoughts and feelings arise and pass away. They're temporary. We say anicca, aniccang. What's temporary is not lasting happiness because it's temporary. It can't satisfy you. It's not self. There's not a permanent, lasting self there. It's something that is temporary, that arises and passes away. So when you keep honing in on that, seeing that, knowing that, you're learning something, and you realize that you don't have to hold on to it anymore or identify, hold on with it, to it. You can let it go. And you get tired of holding on to what is hurting you or what's suffering. And this tiredness is not another kind of defilement. If it's coming from the right practice of mindfulness, investigation, insight, it's a tiredness of suffering, a natural conclusion or consequence of seeing the way things are and saying, oh, I don't want to suffer anymore, so you'll let go. It's not the same as being tired of someone you don't like. That's aversion. Oh, I hate them. I just want to get away from them. Well, that's still aversion. That's still defilement. That's not yet coming from mindfulness, wisdom. That's just a normal reaction to things you don't like. Places, people, experiences. And that will continue. It'll come up again. It will arise again somewhere else. We all know that. You're in one job and you don't like something, somebody there, something, and then you move to another job. Well, you start to experience the same kind of dynamics. What we're doing now is going deeper, establishing mindfulness and seeing our feelings, emotions, and thoughts arising, passing away, seeing pain, discomfort in your body arising, passing away. And you're following right through until you really know, oh, this is impermanent. What's impermanent is not really a self, a being, a lasting thing. So this is your clearing out the junk from that storeroom that you've ignored for so many years. Now you're bringing stuff out. And you'll start to experience some space in that room. If you bring the stuff out, clean some stuff up, it will already feel better, look better, feel better. And your mind is like that. You may not even realize it until you get home from your retreat. And then you say, oh, that was good. It was like, a bit of mental rehab, clearing out, just like when you go on some kind of detox for your body, some kind of course of detox. This is detox for your mind. And if you practice that regularly, then you've got a constant source of detox, of clearing out. And we probably all experience the peace, the relaxation of meditation just temporarily. And in the beginning, that's good. And that's one benefit of meditation, but it doesn't last, does it? You have a peaceful meditation, what we call a good meditation, some samadhi, some calm, and that's helpful, and it's a very important part of the practice. But you have to accept it doesn't last. Watch how it fades away. You're peaceful now, and then later you're not, or you're peaceful today, tomorrow you're not. So it's not the end of the practice. It's helping you develop mindfulness and patience and the strength of mind to see, to look more carefully at your experience, to see the impermanence of your experience. But that also takes practice. You have to keep observing, looking. That's also tiring. Practicing meditation to calm your mind is tiring. Investigating the Dhamma, seeing the arising and passing away of your experience is also tiring. But it leads to understanding, a deepening of your understanding. And some of that remains even when you finish your retreat, you go away. Some of that sticks. And that's the real benefit of your meditation practice. And real wisdom gives you a constant source of peace, a deeper kind of peace, even than samadhi. So the highest happiness in Buddhism is a mind of wisdom that sees the true nature of phenomena, body, physical phenomena, mind, mental phenomena as impermanent, unsatisfactory, not self, the three characteristics. That gives a deeper peace than samadhi alone. Samadhi is good, but wisdom is even better. It's the brightest light in the world. We were talking about this earlier when the Buddha taught the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. If you read the translation of that, light arose in the mind of the listeners. Knowledge, vision, and light, aloka, arose. It's the light of wisdom, insight, clearly seeing the way things are. Like when you have this room full of junk, rooms that are full of junk are dark. The windows can't bring in light. Even if you turn the electric light on, it doesn't shine in there because it's full of junk. But when you clear the junk out, the light can shine in. So the Buddha said, this gives rise to light, to vision, to knowledge, to clear knowledge and vision of the way things are, the impermanent nature of things. It brightens the mind, and the brightest light in the universe is the light of wisdom. Nati panya sama apha. The wisdom that we associate with awakening, waking up the mind to see the truth or know the truth. Literally, they say the features of the Buddha became radiant once he was enlightened. And there's stories of, say, like Venerable Mahakassapa, one of his most important senior disciples. Before he was a monk, he's walking along the road and he saw the Buddha sitting under a tree because he was looking for a teacher. And he knew this was his teacher because he saw the radiance of the mind of the Buddha. An enlightened mind is radiant. It's light, the light of wisdom. The room full of junk has been completely cleared out. And no attachment. You say emptiness of not self. No attachment, so the mind is completely free, completely bright, illuminated. Whatever it contacts, it knows this is not self. There's no attachment here, nothing to attach to. So Mahakassapa saw the Buddha and knew, oh, this is a teacher, the radiance, the light, different than anyone else. So as we practice this patience, effort, bringing the mindfulness up, looking at your own experience, it takes time, takes effort, but all the time you're making very powerful good karma. You're helping yourself in the best possible way, even if it's hard work, full of anger, accumulated anger, or full of fear and worry about the future. You're full of desire, lust, whatever. This is the best possible activity you can do to deal with all that. But you have to be patient as stuff comes up and you see it. You have to look underneath the defilement until you realize the defilement is not you. You are not the defilement. You are not those thoughts, those emotions. They're there, but they come arising due to causes and conditions, and they pass away. And you have to be mindful enough, firm enough, clear enough to see that. Another problem, we meditate and we're always wanting the results, because that's how we're brought up in the world, isn't it? We're always looking for the reward, the bonus, the paycheck, the thing we want. We're always focusing on what we want. And that comes into our meditation. We want the results. We want a mind that is peaceful. I want no thoughts, no suffering, no problems. I just want to be going around on my blissful little cloud all day. And that can be an obstacle because we're now focused on getting results. And if you don't yet experience those results, you'll be disappointed with yourself, with the meditation, maybe with the teacher, with Buddhism, whatever. Disappointment slips in, but it's conditioned or caused by wanting results and not getting them. You have to go below the disappointment and this thinking of results and see the problem is the wanting. If you can catch that and say, oh, let this wanting go and come back to the creation of the path, the mindfulness, the patient effort, investigation, then trust that the results will come from the good causes. But if you're just sitting there wanting the results, that's going to stop you becoming mindful, peaceful. It's actually an obstacle to what you want. The wanting is the problem. So quite often people have good experiences when they completely get frustrated with their own wanting mind and they say, oh, give up, I don't care, I don't want anything. Oh, then suddenly they get peaceful. It's quite a common experience. But you have to go back and nourish the roots, the good causes for seeing the truth, letting go of the wanting, seeing the wanting as impermanent, not self. What are the nourishing the good causes? We go back to just beginner's mind, bringing up the mindfulness, watering the tree, fertilizing the tree, then the tree will grow. Scolding the tree will grow faster. It's not going to work. As they like to prove in Japan, you scold plants, the plants go on strike, they won't grow. They're not happy. Scolding the tree, pulling the tree won't work. Whipping the tree, whatever you do to the tree that's of that nature is only going to hurt the tree and ruin everything. You have to go back to the nourishing causes, the water, the earth, the soil, the sun, and some protection. Then give the tree time to grow. If you're sitting there, just grow, grow, grow. And then you scold the tree. This tree is useless. It's not growing fast enough. No leaves, no fruits, nothing. You only destroy it. You only make life harder. And we do that in meditation. You're sitting there, my meditation is no good. I've got no merit, no barami. And then we want to give up. Try and catch that. That's where you bring the mindfulness out, or catch the wanting mind. the discontent even with meditation. You've already been experiencing, at work, family, all the other things we do in life. Now it will come up in meditation. So now is your chance to catch that habit and start letting it go. Don't follow it. And what you learn in the meditation, then you can apply in other things. I've had to learn this one. I live near Melbourne, BuddhaDhamma Monastery. When we first moved there 22 years ago, it was a farm, so we had to plant lots of trees. I know all about tree planting. We planted thousands of trees, but we've lost a lot of trees. Not because we were scolding them, but because we didn't, in the early days, we didn't put enough protection around them. And there's a lot of animals in our forest, a lot of deer. Deer love trees. They love to destroy them. I don't know why. They don't always eat them, but they destroy them. And we found you have to put a cage around the new tree until it's established. And while the tree is growing, the cage will protect it from the animals. They can't break it, eat it, destroy it. You can't just sit there going, trees grow, I want trees. You have to do the work as well. You have to protect them. That's like your mind, your practice. You have to protect the mind with mindfulness and then reflect on what's going on in your mind. If you notice a defilement, you have to say, this is a defilement, but this is not a person. This is something I can abandon. I can let go of it. I can change it. One year we got so fed up planting trees and watching them get eaten. We went to the nursery, the tree nursery, said, what do the deer not eat? And they said, oh, this one. And they said, really? I said, yes. Okay, we want 100. Only got them small, only a couple of dollars. We got 100 of them, planted them everywhere in lines of them, trying to make gardens and roads next to the road. Came out first day, maybe 20% gone. I thought nothing ate these. We hadn't protected them. We just planted them. Over 1 week, 99 of those trees were eaten. There's one left. It's still left today. It's quite big now, but all the others were eaten, killed. In mindfulness practice is like that, isn't it? Maybe one bit of mindfulness will get through, and then there's all these other times when you're just caught up in your wanting, your craving, your moods, your defilements. If one gets through, well, better than nothing. It's a start. We have to do better protection, don't you? You have to protect the trees, to water them, nourish them, fertilize them. That's your job. They won't just grow by you wanting them to grow. You have to do the work. Meditation, the same. You have to do the work. You have to preserve your mindfulness, protect your mindfulness. On the outside, we protect our mind through sila, precepts, stopping ourselves making suffering for ourselves and others through our actions, our speech. It's a bit like putting a cage around. And then you have to water the tree, meaning cultivate the mindfulness, practice, and then you have to investigate, develop some wisdom and understanding of what's happening in your mind. Just wanting peace, it's not going to happen. You can't just ask the Buddha for peace or ask the monk for peace. You have to create the right causes through your practice, and that's the hard part. That's why you need patience. In the beginning, lots of patience, effort. As long as you can be patient with yourself, there's the chance for your mind, your mindfulness, and your understanding, your wisdom to grow. your practice will improve. You'll find you experience more peace, more understanding. You'll know more. This practice of mindfulness is like, once you understand or see it, it's like amazing quality of mind. Just knowing, directed to how the body is, the feelings you're experiencing, memories, thoughts, whatever is arising into consciousness, just knowing it in a very neutral way, not siding with the pleasure or against the pain or the pleasant, the unpleasant, whether it's physical or mental, but just knowing it. Mindfulness is like that, just knowing this feeling is like this thought is like this, and seeing it arises, it passes away. When we lose our mindfulness, what do? We start getting involved again with the preoccupations, the stories, the fantasies, the reactions, and we're lost until the next moment down the line when we get a bit of mindfulness, wake up again. It's like that all the time, isn't it? Even in one meditation, you're in and out of mindfulness, as it were. There's moments when you're mindful, it makes sense, you can see what's going on in your mind, and then you're lost again, maybe falling asleep or just caught up in the stories and the trains of thought. So it's very frustrating at first. You have to be patient. But out of that patient effort and the effort to bring up mindfulness, then some knowledge and vision, some understanding arises. And if you keep doing that, the teachings of the Buddha make more and more sense in yourself, in your own experience, not just, they make sense on the page of a book or in someone else's words, but actually in your own experience, you start to know for yourself, these experiences of craving, attachment, greed, jealousy, fear, worry, anguish, they arise, they pass away. They're not really a self, a person, a being. Even your relationship to your own body changes. You can understand this physical body is constantly changing. It's not so much under my control as I thought. But letting go from wisdom, you know it. You go, oh, that's just the way it is. So you can accept it peacefully. When we're not very mindful, we react. I don't want this. I don't want this pain. I don't want this problem, this illness, this condition I've got. When we attach to it, it becomes suffering, doesn't it? I've got to get rid of this. I've got to be cured. I've got to sort this out. What did I do? What will I do? Fear, worry. Mindfulness is this quality. It means in the middle, brings with it equanimity, meaning in the middle towards your experience. So neither for nor against, but just knowing. When you have mindfulness, then wisdom can function. You can contemplate things. So they go together as a pair. And we have to train in both. Train in mindfulness and train to contemplate. Like the Buddha said, often you start with very small things. So, one thought. Is this thought really you, a person? It comes up, it goes away, it's gone. In one day, how many thoughts? Thousands. Start with one thought or one sensation in the body. Just observe, oh, that itch came and went. That painful feeling in my leg came and went. That feeling of heat or cold came, it went. Start in small ways. And then you build up experience as you observe the truth of your own physical body and then your mental activity. Or you can go into your body and look at it part by part. So like when a Buddhist monk becomes ordained, you go through the ordination procedure, you're given 5 meditation objects to start you off. It's like your starter pack. Hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin. Basically what you see when you look at a person, when you look at yourself in a mirror or you look at another person, that's what you're seeing, isn't it? So one by one you go through hair of the head, and you pick up a hair that's dropped out, look at it, think about it, contemplate it. Is this really me? It's not a person, isn't it? It's a part of this being we call a human being, but if you pick one out or it falls out, you pick it out. There's no sense of identification with that. When it's on the head though, big deal. Always playing with it, styling it, cleaning it, worrying about it. That's why being a monk is so liberating. You don't have to worry about your hair anymore. You don't get two monks going, oh, how does my hair look? Doesn't make any sense. For lay people, you're always worrying about your hair because on your head, there's an immediate identification. This is me, myself, my hair. As soon as it's on the ground, not my hair, nothing to do with me. I mean, who really enjoys cleaning the bath plug, the shower hole? It's full of hair, isn't it? Some of it's your hair, some of it's someone else's hair. You go, ooh. If you get food in a restaurant and you get a hair in it, waiter, take the food back. We immediately don't like hair once it's off our body, but when it's on our body, oh, it's mine. It's the best hair in the world because it's mine. What is that difference? That's to contemplate, isn't it? Hair is always dropping out, it's always growing, changing, it changes color as you get older, it gets grayer, it drops out. Some people go bald, some people go bald very young, in their 20s, some people later in life. But hair is both dirty, you constantly have to wash it, and it drops out and it's not self. And some monks have even become enlightened, contemplating that as they're having their head shaved, the hair drops down. It's not self, it's to be let go of. And you go through all the parts of the body, the hair of the body, the skin, even skin. If you have dandruff or you rub your skin, flakes come off, you realize, oh, there's a lot of skin around. Most of the dust in the room is from human skin, isn't it? Something like skin, you can contemplate. The Buddha wasn't saying you have to harm yourself in any way. He's just saying get to know the true nature of something like skin. It's mainly made up of the earth element. Skin has some solidity to it, just like hair. There's also the water element as well, but there's a piece of skin. If you ever have a piece of skin, even a small little one, yeah, it's mainly the solid part of it that you're holding. So that's the earth element. But that's not a person or a being. That's just the four elements, earth, air, fire, and water, coming together. And through food and drink, we nourish a human body, it grows, but then it's constantly changing, and we shed skin like we shed hair. The skin you're seeing now on me or you is not the skin you had 7 years ago. It's totally different. It's constantly changing, isn't it? It's cells that make skin up are being born and dying all the time. So the surface of your body is actually the dead stuff, the dead skin, which is why you can scratch it and flakes come off and it doesn't hurt. Why does it hurt when you get a cut? Because your skin parts and then you've got the nerves exposed underneath, so it hurts. Or if you out in the sun too long and you maybe get sunburned, well, I do. But on the surface, it's the dead stuff, so it doesn't hurt. So you're actually looking at dead stuff. You see a advert for some attractive model, male or female. You're seeing their hair. Well, hair is dead cells. You're seeing the skin, dead. The nails are also dead. That's why they don't hurt when you cut them. Teeth, that's dead. You know, it only hurts when the dentist goes in underneath the gums and the roots and all that. That hurts because there's blood vessels and nerve endings. But the actual teeth, you can tap them. They don't hurt, do they? You can crunch food. It doesn't hurt because they're dead. So everything you see of these 5 things, hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin, they're all dead. So we're already dead on the outside. And yet we spend all this money and, you know, this whole industry is about making all this dead stuff look good on the advertising board. Oh, he looks good, she looks good. It's all dead stuff. But nobody sees that, do they? Nobody stops and contemplates, oh, you're just looking at dead skin, dead physical elements. We deny that. We hide that by going to the, oh, they look good, I like that, I like this. And we try our best to look as good as we can, as long as we can. Now, you know, with the advances of technology, we even do all kinds of, you know, plastic surgery and stick things in and pull things out and cut things off and add bits and take bits away. That's what humans do. I mean, if you really turn it around, you can say all the Botox in the world is just proving that bodies are not self. It's anatta. But I'm not sure anyone's contemplating that. But this is what we can do, especially in a retreat. You've got a real opportunity to go a bit deeper under the surface of reality. You know, not go beyond the just I like this, I don't like that. To, you know, the physical elements are impermanent, not self. They're changing. The mental reactions to the physical elements, I like this, I don't like that, are constantly changing, arising, passing away. If you keep looking at that, the arising and passing away and changes of the body, the changes of the mind, the Buddha say you kind of keep looking, keep investigating. In the end, what do you have left? Nothing. Emptiness. You have a process of arising and ceasing of consciousness with thoughts and feelings, and then the body constantly arising and ceasing until one day, you know, we pass away and we're buried or we're cremated. You're seeing emptiness, and you don't have to wait till the end of your life to do this. You can do it right now. If you're feeling really peaceful in meditation, you're already getting a taste of emptiness because you've let go. You know, the opposite of emptiness is holding on and creating a self. But when you let go of that, then you experience the emptiness of the mind, the peace of the mind. That peace is tangible, you know, it's inside, you feel it, it's something you can feel and know. It's not just a theory. It's actually knowing the mind that is calm. Because the more you see the emptiness of mental formations, your thought formations, emotions, positive and negative, good and bad, the physical form, the more you're dwelling with emptiness and seeing that. And that's actually very liberating to the mind. It brings peace and it changes the way you view things. And this is you might say, a step-by-step process that we develop through this meditation. Keep cultivating the mindfulness, keep the sila to protect ourselves, cultivate the mindfulness, and then keep contemplating, investigating. This is what the Buddha has done. This is what all the enlightened monks, nuns, and laymen, laywomen since the time of the Buddha down till today have done. They had the patience, the faith, the willingness to practice. And they were willing to keep going even when, you know, there were obstacles and disappointments. They kept going. And so they reached the highest goal, you know, liberation from the defilements, the letting go of greed, anger, delusion, and all the mental defilements that cause us suffering. It's possible, it's doable. When you're on that pathway. If you keep going, you'll also experience the same result. So maybe for tonight, I'll leave you with these reflections and wish you all well in your practice.
หันธัมมยามโอวานกถาสาธุการังกดัมมาเสสาธุสาธุสาธุอนุโมทนามิ